Hi, everyone. Welcome. One minute. Connor and J-Dog are so punctual. I love it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you are in the audience, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and share in the chat, introduce yourself, and let us know what's your proudest moment been as a Replit user? Something that made you so happy, you wanted to share it with the world. What was that moment? Share it with the world now. Let us know. While you reminisce on that wonderful moment, we're just going to introduce ourselves so you know who's on screen. You all know me. I'm Lena, head of community here at Replit. And then I'll hand it to Soren, Obeda, and Antoine to introduce themselves.
Hey everyone, my name is Soren. I am a product manager at Replit, and I work mostly on social and community features.
Hello, my name is Obeda. I'm also a product manager at Replit. I focus mainly on Cycle or virtual currency economy, which is called Cycles at this point in time.
Hello everyone, my name is Antoine. I work on the growth team, specifically in BizOps, and my focus is international growth and also special projects.
Awesome. So all of us have something to share with you today. For me, it's mostly just sharing my messy background. But Soren, Obeda, and Antoine will all be presenting some more substantial things. So today, here's what you have to look forward to. Soren will talk about a new social feature that is coming up and that we really want your feedback on. So he'll be talking about following. After him, Obeda will talk about cycles, which you've probably heard whispers of, or maybe you've experienced in their past iterations. Maybe reaching a certain amount of cycles in the past was your proudest moment on Replit. Who knows? And then Antoine will be delivering a very, very exciting announcement, which I'm actually not even going to tell you about yet. I'm going to leave it to him. So make sure you stick until after Obeda's presentations that you hear about this announcement. You are not going to want to miss it. And for those of you just joining us, again, introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know what your proudest moment was as a Replit user. And keep those coming in. I'm going to hand it to Soren and remove all of the rest of the folks from the stage.
Awesome. Can you also, is my screen, you actually don't have to share it just yet, Lena. So yeah, today I wanted to take a few moments and share some incoming social features that we're about to get started on here at Replit. So if you're in our Discord, you'll know that I've been sharing parts of our roadmap and getting feedback on different features and feature ideas for the past few months now. The feature that I'm going to actually talk about today has been requested for a really long time, and that feature is following and the ability to follow your friends and other popular creators on Replit. We are really excited about following for a few reasons. One, it allows smaller communities and subnetworks to exist on Replit. So soon you'll be able to follow your friends and other popular creators that you like on the platform. One of the hopes here is that the content and the repls and just the stuff you see in the feed will be super relevant to you because you took that step and followed the creator or followed your friend. And the second reason we're excited about this is because it allows creators to get Replit famous. We want to give creators the tools to grow their audiences and eventually capture some of that monetary value. And that's part of what Obeda is going to talk about after me. And following and letting creators build audiences is one step in that direction. Important to note that there's two things that go into this feature. One, the actual mechanics of following, so where you can follow other users from. And then two, the following feed. So this is essentially a new feed that we're building that would show you the activity of your friends and people you're following on Replit. So now I'm going to just do a quick demo. Alina, if you want to pull up that screen share, that would be awesome. Sweet. So I want to preface here by saying that these are just mocks. This is not finalized. This is just directionally what we're thinking here. So the first screen here, you see a profile. Some really small changes here. Obviously, we'll probably have a follow CTA. You'll be able to see how many followers you have and other people have. And you'll probably be able to click this and see a list of all of the followers. Next up here is the state if you're actually following that person. Here's the actual exciting card here. This is just a mock of what the following feed could look like. So as of now, we're thinking about putting this in the community itself. So you would click on the community tab and you would be able to toggle between the following feed and the global feed. The global feed is exactly what the community is right now. It's just where all published REPLs go, but the following feed would be more tailored to you and the users that you're following. So something that's kind of cool is there's different things that the people you follow could do to show up in the feed. So the most obvious action here is, let me zoom in a little bit. The most obvious action here is when people you follow publish a REPL, it will show up in the feed. When people you follow comment on a REPL, it should show up in the feed. If somebody you follow likes a REPL, it will show up here. Here you see it's streamed if somebody you follow follows another person. So hopefully more users will be discovered this way because you'll see what your friends are interested in and what other people your friends are interested in. And then finally, when somebody publish or shares an update on their REPL, that will also be streamed on this feed here. So yeah, that's the feed. Again, this is not final, but this is just directionally what we're thinking. And then finally, down here, another very small change that we'll probably make is relating to the cover page. And you'll notice that there is a follow button on the cover page and a follower count. So there's just a little bit more added context about the creator on these social views. So that is all from me. I think next, Lena's going to pop some questions in the chat to answer as Obeida's talking. And then at the very end, if you have any questions or just comments about this, you can come up on stage or just ask in the chat and I'll do my best to respond. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Great. Thanks, Soren. I'm actually going to leave your Figma up and invite people to chime in on what you want to see with the following feature in this poll, which I've added in the chat, and it's pinned to the bottom of our screen, covering our faces. And click through, let us know what you think. I will share. Ooh, I see folks have already voted. Love to see it. So keep that window open. Go ahead and weigh in, share what you think. This will help inform eventually what the following looks like once we really start getting into the development. And then while you all answer that, I'm actually going to hand it over to Obeida, who's going to talk about cycles. And by the way, for those of you who have questions, go ahead and add them to the chat. We will get to those later. And Soren can either answer them in the chat via text, or we'll hold on to them and answer them verbally at the end of the presentations. So hold on to those. We'll get to them, write them in the chat, or just keep them in your brain and bring them up at the end. You might even have a chance to join the stage and chat with us face to face. All right, so stay engaged in the poll, stay engaged in the chat. Obeida, it's all you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Lena. Thank you, Soren. Excited to chat with all of you. So at the end, please feel free to join us on the stage. So I'm going to kind of talk about this idea of capturing value from the community in Replit. And so I'm going to start off by asking just a broad question. And I'm giving this like a new go. I'm presenting on Figma. Normally it's like Google Slides or PowerPoint, but I thought I'd give Figma a shot for a presentation. So the first question is, what is a virtual economy? Would love to see people's responses in the chat if anyone has a response. Maybe folks don't. Cool. So then I will define it. It is the exchange, very, very basic definition, is the exchange of goods and services in a virtual world. And so this is kind of what we're going for. An online first economy, yes. And so this is kind of what we're going for, is building this virtual economy. And the first step to do so is you need a currency. And so this is why we're going with this thing that we're calling cycles. It's our virtual currency native to Replit. And so we went ahead and conducted a survey. About 3,000 plus folks filled out the survey. Some of you might have filled it out yourselves, or you saw it on the platform on Replit. But out of those 3,000 folks, I'm going to highlight the top 3 results that I think are important and relevant to you all. The first one is the vast majority of our users are familiar with virtual currencies and have used them. So out of the 3,000 people, over 60% of the people that filled out that survey have used virtual currencies or are familiar with them. And we kept it kind of vague on purpose. So this includes anything from V-Bucks and Robux to Bitcoin and Ethereum. The second is about 50% plus have actually tipped other online creators. And this is really important, going back to kind of Soren's point about capturing value from people who are following you and kind of this new feed that we're going for. It's very likely that people will tip you based off of just kind of past indicators. So a lot of people tipped on Patreon or Twitch, other platforms. And then the third thing that I want to highlight here is the number one thing that people wanted to use Cycles for is Hacker. So a lot of people wanted to use it on Hacker due to the power and resources. And there was other feedback people left. So if you're one of the people that went ahead and filled out the form, I have definitely read your general feedback and looked at the different platforms you use and also know who wants to talk to us. So you're going to definitely be someone that we reach out to. And so now the question is, after all of this, what are we working on now? And so the first thing that Replit is working on now is creating value for Cycles. And what that means is we're going to allow people to purchase Cycles with real money and then use Cycles on the platform to purchase different things. Obviously, we have a general idea as to what we're going to allow you to purchase, and it's going to be very limited in the beginning on purpose. It is going to expand for sure, but at the get-go, we are going to limit it to about 3 things. And more to come here. I don't want to share everything right away, right? Some things should come as a surprise. So hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll see what those 3 things are going to be. But the idea here is that now we create this value for this thing called Cycles, this virtual currency. So once we create value, this opens up the door for anything else that we want to do, from tipping to earning to potentially even cashing out and making real money, right? And so I want to share this really bad design that we made a while ago, very long time ago. And it's highlighting kind of one user flow that you can do with Cycles, which is tipping. And the reason I chose this is because Soren just talked about this idea of a feed and following. So kind of following the same theme, I'm going to show this. So there's 2 users here, right? There is Replit, and then there is Cycle City. Cycle spelled incorrectly here. It's too late now. But so this is kind of their wallet. It shows all their transactions. So Replit has 3.799 cycles, and Cycle City has 1.2. Replit loves Cycle City. It's Cycle City is maybe a new programmer. They've been programming for a month and sharing to the community, and Replit is following Cycle City. They can go ahead and send them some type of value. I want to send them 1.5. Sorry, one second. I'm zoom this out to make it look nicer. 1.5 cycles, and then description, does this work? And then it goes and Replit sends to Cycle City this amount of currency or this amount of cycles. If you look, it actually went through, right? Now Cycle City has 1.5 cycles, and here's their wallet. They can kind of see what's happening and what's going on with their different types of transactions. Also think potentially none of this is hard. None of this is like the final. This is not even close to final design. This is just to build hype and let your imagination run wild. But think Venmo, where you and your friends, if you have a private account, you Venmo each other. On your wallet or on the transactions, you can see the history. So similarly here, I can see if I sent someone 1.5 cycles, if they sent me cycles. And then if you come and look at Replit's perspective, they lost 1.5 cycles. And this is what their wallet looks like now. And I'm really just trying to highlight here the possibilities, which are endless. As soon as we create value for this currency, I mean, it's not endless, obviously, everything has an end. But once you create value for this currency, you're able then to, break into different things. You can sell services, you can sell maybe your apps, whatever it is. Again, I'm just throwing out ideas. None of this is set in stone. A lot of this is TBD, so to be determined. And one more thing I want to highlight is we're kind of doing this. We're building in public, so we're sharing. This is the second town hall we've done around Cycles. We've done the surveys, we've done a lot of user interviews, and the purpose behind all of this is to make sure that what we build is something that's shaped by our users and something that really empowers our users. So if it's something that you all are not going to use, then there's no point in building this, right? And we really want you all to share your opinions, share your feedback. We're going to have more town halls for sure, especially around Cycles as we kind of move along the roadmap. And if you ever want, you can always just email me directly. You can, let me send my email in the chat. You can email me directly. You want to say, love this idea, hate this idea, here's some feedback, whatever it is, feel free to email me. And I'll get back to you. I see there's some questions in here, but I'm going to stop talking, Lena, and I can answer them in the chat as we move on to the next part. I think you're muted.
There we go. Thanks so much. So thank you so much, Obeda. Those of you who are participating in the poll, really appreciate it. I'm seeing some great questions in the Q&A as well. For those of you who missed it, I've pinned the link to the following poll on YouTube. And guess what? I've got a poll for cycles as well. So I'll be linking that in the chat too in just a minute. Obeda, I'm going to remove you from the screen and leave you to answer questions in the chat. And I'm going to pull Antoine onto the stage now. Right. There we go. All right.
Here we go.
Antoine, what is this big news that you are about to share? Tell us.
It's a big news. At Replit, we want to show our appreciation to active creators who were early and are active in the community by rewarding them for their work. So today we're really happy to announce that over the summer, we will be running a Replit Creator Fund with $25,000 per month in prizes. How it's going to work. The Creator Fund is going to start on the first day of June. Every month, we will pick 50 winners who will receive $500 for their selected entry. And we'll consider repos posted to the community during the payout period, which is monthly. And basically any repos that you're posting to the community will be considered for the Creator Fund. At the end of each month, the Replit team is going to pick their favorite repos based on the following criteria. How useful and or fun is it? How innovative is it? How well documented it is? And how well does it use Replit-specific features? For people that participated in the Made with Replit hackathon, it's the same criteria. So you should be familiar with those. And we're going to evolve the program as we go through the summer month. And if you have any feedback, you can join us on the Creator Fund channel on Discord that will be created, and we'll post more details there as well. Yeah, back to you.
Every time. This is so exciting. I can't wait to be able to reward some of our most active users and creators. And Connor asked, is this happening every month?
So for now, the goal is to run it over the summer, and then we'll see if we continue it, if it's successful. And we're thinking about ways to also evolve the program and make it more compelling for creators.
Awesome. Nice. So that's really exciting. We just made 3 big, exciting, basically announcements about an upcoming following feature, cycles, and the Creator Fund. Now, I want to open it up to the audience, to our users, to kind of hear what you have to say. Let me bring on the rest of our team to the stage. So I'm seeing some questions in the chat, and I also want to add an invite link for those of you who might want to join the stage and chat with us. I'll put it right there. As always, if you're joining the stage, we are going to be moderating it. So please, please be your best self if you do choose to join the stage. So first off, Soren, we got some questions about following. Do you want to address those that you answered in the chat as well as some others?
Yeah, give me a sec. I need to scroll up and find them. There was a few comments about how this sort of thing, like the following feed, may be better to exist on the homepage. And we agree, but we want to start small and then build up to these more impactful surfaces. So that's why we're planning on starting in the community, making sure it works, making sure nothing goes horribly wrong. That doesn't happen, but we just want to be careful and roll it out slowly. So in the future, you can expect a homepage refactor very soon that will probably include more social features, but for the next 6 to 8 weeks, we'll probably just be working on the feed in the community.
Awesome. And then if anyone else has, or actually, let me look at the feedback in the poll on following and just shout some folks out. Ironclad mentioned that they'd prefer to have the feed on homepage and for community to be in something different. So that the second you log in, you're seeing all the folks that you're following. They also asked, will you be allowed to view all transactions of any users, or will the transactions page be private? I think this is more for Obeda. You kind of touched on this. Let's just make sure we've got it answered. Obeda, do you have a quick answer for that?
Yeah. Right now we don't. I think leaning towards hiding is probably the right move, but I don't have a solid answer here just because we haven't scoped out this part yet. But once we do, for sure, like Ironclad and J-Doug will definitely reach out to you both and make sure that your input is at least noted, and we can make sure we build out something that works for everyone or for most people.
Nice. All right. Ooh, another message from Ironclad. Forking should have a price. So essentially when you are, when you duplicate another user's work, there should be a cost in cycles, like automatic tipping, which we don't have in the US often enough, frankly.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I think for me, like, as I think about this, right, people can pay for forking, but then maybe it opens up this door of, all right, I paid for the fork, but I can copy the code now and anyone can fork my fork for free. And so it opens up like a forkception, right? Of sorts. But I definitely think that there's some things that can be done here around forking or paying for playing or something along those lines for sure. There's opportunity here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're hearing some pushback in the chat as well. Maybe just posting forks should have a price, but you should be able to fork them and experiment as much as you like. Yeah, protecting that it's open source.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dylan mentioned, I think the person should be able to do that if they want. So someone could turn on that setting, I guess. Interesting.
Yeah, and we can run tests potentially once we get to like the marketplace aspect of cycles. There's, like I said, there's a lot of opportunity, and we could definitely scope out, top 2 or 3 use cases based off what you all are sharing with us and what users are interested in, and then do tests from there.
Yeah, I like what folks are saying though, because Soren, I think you can talk to this point as well, but Replit really should be a space where you can experiment and be as creative as possible. But it should also be a place where you're getting credit for the amazing things that you're building. And so we want to be able to strike a balance between those two. So this feedback is actually really, really wonderful. Thank you guys.
Actually, I have a question for sure. Do we imagine or envision like a future like scenario where it's similar to like NFTs where the original creator gets credit? So if someone has like a REPL and it gets forked or whatnot, original creator is always going to be mentioned in like 6 forks from the original fork or etc.
I think crediting the original creator in all scenarios is important. I don't want to get too into the weeds and talk about like actual implementation, but yes, I think the original creator should at least be highlighted if somebody uses their work and it gets really popular, whether that's through like money and cycles or just through showcasing the creator in some other way. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I do think that's important. I'm just not sure exactly how we would do that yet.
Ooh, Gabby. Hi, Gabby. Gabby asked, what about submitting projects to creators for feedback? Gabby, maybe you can elaborate on that. Are you talking about like receiving cycles for providing feedback or something like that? Well, Gabby works on that clarification. I'm going to move on to some more. Okay, someone says, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this name, but since a person wants to fork, it means that they've already studied the code. This effectively means that the source code is available and the end user can simply copy paste it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pay for fork. I want to mention here, like pay for fork or paying for forking is a huge can of worms, and we've not experimented with it. It's just a fun idea, but we're not like set on it. Just we always explore every outcome when we're thinking about building features at Replit. So this is just one idea of hundreds that can be possible with cycles.
We'll start small. Connor asks, can each fork give a small percentage of cycles to the original creator, like a gas price?
Maybe. The door is open for a lot of, like Soren said, the door is open for different things. I think once we get to specifically to the monetizing of community and being able to make money off of actual creations, I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done here, and a lot of risks that we need to de-risk. And so I can't give you like a hard yes or no. It's very difficult since it hasn't been scoped yet. But potentially, I mean, that's a good idea. All of this is noted down somewhere.
Great piece of feedback from JDog. People fork because it's hard to read the code on the cover page. So maybe if we're identifying the right problem, we'll have the right solution, because that's really interesting. I saw another one. What about abuse? I see lots of accounts that have forked hundreds, even thousands of the same REPL. If we use cycles for a small price, that will prevent that abuse.
Yeah, this is actually something that we've discussed internally as well, like cycles as a method to prevent abuse. Obeda, you can probably speak more on that, but I've definitely heard conversations about that specifically.
Yeah. So conversations around curbing abuse for cycles can range from community to resources. So you're right, it could stop people from creating bots and forking. At the same time, it can also stop people from forking, period, because now there's a barrier to entry, right? So if someone can't afford cycles or don't have it, or they don't have any cycles, then they might not be able to fork. So we could use cycles maybe in a different way to curb abuse, but in regards to community, I think there are definitely use cases here. We just have to flesh them out. But I agree that it could stop a lot of like this, create a bot and fork your REPL like a million times. It's a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, Soren and I, we were talking about this, but that also is like not exactly the issue at hand, right? Like it's okay if a project has a bunch of forks, but you may not necessarily want to see it in your feed. So like, how are we ensuring that you're only seeing stuff in your trending or in your following that you actually are really interested in seeing, and not just stuff that's been impacted by bots? It's like a two-prong issue, but we don't want to take away people's freedom to be creative, to learn, to experiment because abuse has been happening. We want to create better tools so that your experience on Replit is enjoyable and easy, and we're not cutting out any of the good stuff just because there are a couple of people who abuse it. Gabby clarified feedback as an activity to earn through cycles. I like that. Or maybe like when you help something, I've seen in some forums where if your answer is marked as a solution, you get karma or whatever.
Yeah, earning cycles is like a really big thing. And I know that for many folks, it unlocks, a door for them, because maybe otherwise, again, they couldn't afford to purchase cycles and whatnot. So cycles as a mechanism to double down on network positive behaviors is something that we're really thinking about, and we're trying to flesh out as we like. We already have a lot of work here, and we have a lot of ideas, and we've kind of already started scoping a lot of this specifically around earning ahead of us even trying to work on it. So there's a lot of planning happening here. I think feedback, I think if you're someone that's always providing value on the platform, you're going out of your way to help new users, or even leaving positive feedback on people's creations, I think you definitely deserve some type of reward for sure.
Dylan Barnes asked, would you be able to donate to specific creators or users? The answer, Soren, is?
Well, I say yes. I'm not sure if the first version will allow for that, but it is being able to like tip other creators and send value to other users on Replit is like obviously a very clear use case.
Mm-hmm.
The first, I just want to also clarify, the first introduction of cycles is going, obviously, baby steps. We have to break into this idea of virtual economy slowly. And so the first introduction is going to be purchasing. So buy cycles and then use cycles to buy things on the platform. And then from there, the door opens up for other things. And similar to this town hall, we'll potentially do one before or ahead of each pod or ahead of each next iteration of cycles.
Yeah. And these questions came up in the poll, but in case you didn't get to the poll, feel free to answer them in the chat as well. Let us know what you think. But what would you want to earn cycles for? So some things that have come up are for providing feedback or help to someone, for creating a project that people want to fork. What are other things that you would want to earn cycles for? And a follow-up question to that, I'll put these both in the chat so you remember them. A follow-up question is, what kinds of behaviors do you think that you would like to see more on Replit? Like, I know I want to see more customization, like people finding templates and then customizing them and making them something entirely new, making them something that's their own. But what's something that you want to see more of on Replit? Because we can incentivize those with things like cycles. Awesome. I'm seeing some responses. This is awesome. And then there was a queue. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think tutoring is really interesting. I think a lot of people would appreciate this idea of teaching others and getting some type of reward for it. So tutoring is definitely something top of mind for sure. Or like an aspect of learning from, people going into other people's repos and leaving feedback, or people requesting help. Services tutoring is a service.
Also worth noting that we, as in the Replit team, don't necessarily have to build all of these products for them to get used. If Cycles as a currency exists, and if there's like a Cycles API where we effectively enable like programmable money, any motivated creator could build a tutoring app that uses Cycles, where users could pay each other and tip each other for tutoring, or to deliver groceries, or to do anything. So it's so much more, it's so much bigger than just what the Replit team is going to build.
I'm seeing great ideas in the chat. Thanks, everyone. This is really great. How many of you, I'm curious, like, a lot of us ask for help, right? Like, I need help constantly, and everyone on this screen can tell you that. But how often and how likely are you to want to help people? So how many of you in the audience would be interested in being a mentor, or being active in a help tag, or giving feedback to folks if they need it? Add a smiley face or a hand raise emoji or something nice in the chat. This is purely out of curiosity. While y'all think on that, we got another question. Would you be able to build on it as if it was blockchain or similar? Are you talking about cycles?
Yeah, I think we may need a little bit more context with this question.
Yeah. Connor, bribe someone to collaborate with you or make a deal. It doesn't have to be a bribe. That's great. Dylan would help people. That's awesome. Love to hear it. J-Dog, maybe. Yeah, Connor, I think this is a little more accurate. Just offer some cycles. Gabby has a great idea. Creating project series that help people get certified. So this is big for folks who are creating things like tutorials or educational materials. Soren, we don't endorse this. Repl Talk asked, gave cycles and you helped successfully, maybe something like that. Sweet. Yes, shout out to Bookie, who I think is not able to make it today, but helps everyone with CSS. So I keep on adding your thoughts in the chat. I do want to touch on a question that we got in the poll about the Creator Fund. And they asked, is Creator Fund basically a version of weekly REPLs where money is rewarded, or is it more serious and you actually have to submit the REPL to enroll? So Antoine, how might someone be considered for the Creator Fund?
Yes, so for the Creator Fund, it'll be similar in style to the weekly REPLs. The only thing you have to do is to post it to the community, so you have to publish it. And then REPLs that will be published to the community will be considered. So there's no proper submissions. As long as you submit, you post to the community, we'll consider the REPL.
That seems pretty simple. There's no tag. They don't have to, they just post it.
Yep, that's correct.
Awesome. And then could they submit a REPL? Could a REPL that I'm really proud of that I made a year ago win some money from the Creator Fund?
The rules for that, the rules for that for remixing and reposting. So we will consider REPLs if you want to repost or remix another project. You have to do some meaningful improvements to it, and that way we will consider it. So it can be for either new REPLs or REPLs that you want to improve, and you have some cool ideas that you want to integrate, and you want to post it to the community to get feedback and share it with people. So that's what we'll consider.
Awesome. Great question in the chat. Do multiplayer REPLs you work on, are those eligible for the Creator Fund? So if they collaborated on something or worked in a team on a project, would they be able to participate?
Yeah, if you post it, again, like the rule is if you post it to the community. So let's say you work on it as a team, we will consider it as well. So it can be either individual work or teams work.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's something, I always say this, but it's like creativity and collaboration are really important.
Oh.
Lena, I think you froze.
I think Lena cut out there.
Yeah, you cut out. Oh,
I'm back?
There we go.
Yep,
hey.
back.
All right. Oh, Beta, what were you about to say?
I had a question for Antoine as well. Actually, maybe I should have like a fake account and just message it in the chat. I don't know if this was covered or maybe I missed it, but is there a number of people that like, is there a limit of folks that are going to be able to earn, or is it just until the cash runs out?
So basically, like what we'll do to begin with is $25,000 per month, and we're going to pick 50 winners per month.
Okay.
In that case, we should show who worked on the REPL on the Spotlight page.
Yes.
Oh, all the contributors.
I've been thinking about this actually as well as like a small project, but I think that when you publish a REPL, you should be able to add other creators that worked on it with you so that you could co-publish and co-author work that you publish to the community. So you can expect to see something like that probably this year. Or actually, yes, very likely this year, because that's not a huge project.
Yeah, I like that a lot. JDog, how long will it last? How long are we doing Creator Fund for?
Yep, so it's going to start in June, and the goal is to run it over the summer, and afterwards we will see if we continue with the program, if it's successful and we see that people are creating very good REPLs, and we see the activity increasing on the community. So it's something that we will consider.
Will there be exclusive benefits for hackers? Dylan, a little more context there. Do you mean in terms of cycles, in terms of Creator Fund? Isaiah says, please no. All right, we'll wait for a little more context from Dylan there. Oh, in terms of cycles, are there exclusive benefits for hackers, Obeda?
Yeah. No. I guess it's kind of hard to answer. So a lot of platforms, when you have a premium model, you end up being able to purchase cycles or the currency at a cheaper rate. So that's probably going to be like, one benefit of having hacker. The second is potentially still a little more power than a free user that like is able to do certain things with hacker with cycles. But in reality, the biggest edge would definitely be just a discounted price because of the fact that you're paying for hacker. So, if you're on Clash and you pay for the Clash Pass or whatever, you can buy for cheaper, right? You can earn things quicker. On Roblox, if you have a premium subscription, you can buy Robux for cheaper. Generally speaking, because you're already putting in some money, it's a little cheaper to buy on some of these other platforms. So similarly here, I can't answer in terms of exclusive benefits because, like I said in the first part, everyone's going to be pretty much buying almost the same things. If anything, maybe hacker might not have as many benefits as someone that's not on hacker. But I that's a good question. Maybe we should flesh that out as like, pro, con, hacker, and what you get out of using cycles. So thanks for flagging.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like prohibitive. Like if you don't have hacker,
yeah,
you'll still be able to participate and you'll still get a great experience out of it. Yeah. Will there be a way to tell if someone bought cycles or got them?
Yeah, so this is a good question. Actually, I'd like to throw it back and kind of hear what you all have to say. Definitely not pay to play. I hate pay to play. I don't think pay to play is a good model at all. So thanks for flagging that, Storage. But I would actually like to hear everyone else's thoughts on if we should differentiate between earned and bots. Do you all think it's worth it? Like on our end, we can maybe differentiate in the UX, in the UI, right? Like we can show you like, oh, they earned this much or you earned this much, whatever it is, and maybe hold the same value. But I would like to actually know what you all think here. I would love to hear your thoughts.
A bit. Would you clarify the question a little bit, just so we know exactly how to answer?
Yeah, definitely. So bot cycles are, the cycles that you purchase with actual money, and then earned cycles are the things that you're able to earn based off certain behaviors, or essentially cycles are earned for free. So you're not using cash to like have that cycles in your wallet.
So one being kind of like Reddit karma, and the other being like an actual currency that you had to pay money for, right?
Yep. Okay. But with the same name. Does that clarify for you, J-Dog?
Ooh, Connor's thinking about badges and cycles. Yeah, this is interesting. Badges. Tell us more. What do you all think about badges? When you receive a badge, are you proud of it? Do you want to show it off? What do you think it's worthwhile to get badges for? Very curious. Oh, J-Dog says, no, not really. Add some more clarifying questions in there and we'll get to them. I'm curious about your thoughts with badges too. Because that's another way of...
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I was going to say badges are another way of like promoting the kind of community that is good for everyone, right? Like badges can help make people want to help each other or post their creative work or whatever. But cycles can also do that. So anyway, chime in about badges if you'd like. For J-Dog, any more clarification we can offer?
Also, just about badges, going back to that, we in our survey, that was something we put like custom badges, and a lot of people voted for it, which is interesting to us because there was no context. We just said custom badges. It got like 25% of people who are interested in using cycles on badges. So definitely something that was kind of funny, and it's cool that you're bringing it up again here.
Cool, great feedback on badges in the chat. Try new things you might not have. Oh yeah, so like maybe if I post my first Rust REPL, I'll get a badge for going out on a limb and trying something new. They should show up on your profile. Yeah, I'm loving these. I'm gonna have to look back at this chat. This is great. Very rusty. Also, sort of sorry all the questions are hiding your face. I'm going to try and rearrange us.
Fun.
All right, Antoine, it's going to be you now. I'm sorry. Landon asks, sorry if this has been asked before, but will cycles that have been earned from the past still be available? Oh, yeah. So folks who got cycles from Replit asked and back in the day.
Yeah, they will be. I think that's something we don't want to ruin for like all our users who are very active in the cycle space, but we do have to rebase, which means we have to adjust for, you know, what cycles is going to look like now versus what it used to look like. So cycles now actually has some monetary value in the sense that you can purchase it for some type of money or X amount of money. And so therefore, and you can use it on the platform to buy things. We do, you know, if you have like 1 million cycles, that's too much. But we're not gonna make it so you have 0 cycles, but we're going to adjust so that at the very least people don't go to net zero. But what they do go to is net some number that allows them to still partake in the community at the get-go, for sure. That is something that we're like, that is one of the, in this current work that we're doing around purchasing or that we're about to start. This is definitely one of the things that we're going to be working on. Yeah, well, the thousands might be readjusted to some way smaller number, where, you know, again, like let's say 50 cycles can get you 3 things, and maybe you can only buy up to 10 things or whatever it is. We might cap you so that you can buy up to 8 or something. Anyways, long story short, we're going to try to make this as fair as possible. And I'll definitely let anyone who has a bunch of cycles, I will for sure reach out to you all and make sure that you're comfortable with this rebase. But we do have to correct for, you know, the amount of cycles some folks have to make it fair for everyone else, because it just won't be fair. Yeah, and Replit goes broke. That's also another problem.
Wait, I saw another question. Could we make websites that use cycles as a currency via an API? That's next level.
Yeah. So Dylan, please let me know if I'm understanding your question right. But do you mean like inside of your website, people can pay you cycles that are then shown inside your Replit account? Is that kind of what you're saying? Because if so, I love this idea. If not, then I would love for you to expand.
I think that's the right. I think that's what the question is asking for.
Could we then maybe? Yeah, I mean, like I said, as soon as we create value, the future of what we can do with cycles depends on where we want it to go as a community and where you all want us to go with it. So definitely something that's up there, a possibility for sure.
Like this cycle donating sounds cool. Yeah, people want to help each other. People should be rewarded for their work, and I hope that you all will give credit where it's due. You should be able to get the cycle logs via GraphQL. People are really going deep with these updates. I hope you're ready. What if your REPL-like cycles and your currency cycles are different and they increase the same, but unless you start with 0 cycles, they won't be the same?
Yeah, I think a lot of these questions. I think a lot of these questions go back to how do we differentiate between cycles that used to exist and new purchased cycles that, you know, were bought with money. And we honestly don't have a perfect answer yet, because this is still a project that's like in research and development. So what may end up happening is there's two, like many games that have a currency end up having 2 currencies, where they have a currency that you need to actually purchase with dollars, and then there's a currency that you earn through playing the game. And maybe that's the direction we go, maybe it's not, but
yeah, it's a possibility. I know, like, so I'm a Clash Royale fanatic
fiend
of sorts. Yeah, fiend. And on the game, they don't differentiate between earned gems and purchased gems. And so like it all stays in one thing, and you can just earn and share. But there's no social aspect where, like, you know, I can show off how many gems I have. So there's that. I mean, you have your clan. Anyways, food for thought for me, right? And for the team, so we can think about how to share or differentiate between earned and bought cycles.
These are great. Ooh, could cycles be rewards in hackathons in the future? Yeah, I think so.
100%. Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Speaking of hackathons, I don't know if you all saw, but we just announced one. If you all seem very intent on earning cycles, but a hackathon's a good way to get some cash money. Let me grab the tweet. We recently announced we're doing a templates jam. So if any of you are wanting to make a template for a language you haven't seen on Replit yet, or a template for a project that you think a lot of people would like to use, submit it. You could win some money. I'll put that in the chat. I want to make sure we are touching on everything. So we've talked a lot about cycles. Is there any more feedback or questions about following or about the Creator Fund? Wait, I'm not putting that on main. We can talk about that, Connor. All right, let's see. Where is our templates announcement? Aha, got it. I'll put this in the chat. All right. Might be cool to be able to post a request for REPL to the community with cycles reward attached. I love that idea, Phil. Mm-hmm. I was just thinking, speaking of this, I was working on the polls today and I was like, I wish someone would do a polls app in Replit. That would be great because I'm switching between them and I haven't found one that I truly love yet. So maybe someone can work on that.
For sure, contracting out to the community for different projects. I 100% am down for that.
It's
yes,
like a
cycles is. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like I was just gonna say it's like a bounty program. You know,
yeah.
The Replit team can say, hey, we'll pay you X amount of cycles if you build a Notion clone in Replit, right? But also what's cool about this is other people on Replit could request other Replit users. So you could imagine you could share a REPL request to your followers. Say, hey, if somebody makes this, I will pay you $100, right? So these things could be made by the Replit team, but also made by community members, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Some people might request proxies. Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
What would you want to request? What are some types of projects that you would want to see on Replit? Or maybe languages that haven't been added yet?
Free gems.
That's great. All right. Go ahead, add in the chat. We are running low on time. It seems like folks are running low on patience, or maybe I shouldn't say patience, but it seems like the chat is kind of dying down a bit. So find us on Discord, and you can learn more about the Creator Fund on Discord. You can find our team on Discord and get help there. And if you have any further feedback, we really would love to hear it on any of these things: cycles, follows, Creator Fund. Love it. Soren, how did you get 1111?
If you pay for Discord Nitro, you can change your username. So that's why I have it.
That's nice. Awesome. Well, everyone, I really appreciate all of the feedback you shared today, all of the ideas. We can't wait to really look at these, turn the ideas over, and see how we might implement them now or in the future. And we will keep you up to date on more features going forward. We do Town Hall every month. Don't forget about our templates jam. Stay tuned for more jam info. And what else is going on? We've got Replit Ventures going on, tons of stuff. I think Twitter is a good way to learn about this. But yeah, if you all are I want my cycles. Just join one of our jams. Get some money. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, midnight, etc.